if I was a non-biased person from the outside, and hey, can you go examine American politics and tell us what you think about this group called the Progressive Democrats? Tell us what you think, and tell us without going to their website or hearing them speak. Just look at what they're doing and tell us, give us a list of what you think the progressive strategy is. Like, and that unbiased person, this is what I feel like the list will be. Sell your soul for a committee assignment. Is that untrue? I don't think that's untrue. So vote.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I saw this tweet. This tweet was a banger. I'll let you break it down though. I'll let you break it down.
Yeah, and then vote like a corporate Democrat. And you briefly in passing mentioned how AOC votes very closely to how Joe Crowley voted, the person she supported. And then ask yourself this question with this second point. Ask yourself this question. If you replaced all of the squad with corporate Democrats, what legislation would be different? What? Ask yourself that question. Let's move on.
These are devastating questions. Just saying. These are questions. These are the reason why they block us, guys. The people who defend the Justice Democrats, they just say, oh my God, RBN are grifters. They just want you to be depowered through electoral politics, but they never address these points on how your strategy failed. So I love it. Go ahead, CJ.
Yes.
It's powerful.
Never directly challenge leadership. And that means saying we need to do something about the crime bill, but not saying Joe Biden. Doing this type of thing. Not Congress needs to do this, but not specifically calling out, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, and Nancy Pelosi, the leaders who are actually in power. That's like indirectly, never directly challenging leadership. What? Oh, let me scroll up a little bit. Next one. Never rally your millions of followers for direct action. I think this is, for me, one of the big ones. Because let's say they did all the other stuff. Let's say they voted for Ukraine. They did all of that. If they did all that, but you know what they could do by rallying their millions of followers? We could have a $25 minimum wage. You mean to tell me AOC and Bernie Sanders couldn't get millions of people to show up? You ever heard of Million Man March when the black men showed up? How about we have a million direct march in Washington, D.C. at AOC and Bernie Sanders? So now never rallying their millions of followers for direct action. Go ahead, Nick.
And I'm gonna add something to that point too. Imagine if they amplified other existing outside game left protests.
Mm-hmm.
For example, not a single one of them tweeted about Medicare for All in the Medicare for All march that we had. And then a lot of people who defend the squad, they were like, oh my God, look at this 50 city march for Medicare for All. They didn't have millions of people in the street. Maybe we would have if we had Bernie and AOC helping us. Maybe we had a professional managerial class like TYT helping us. Maybe we could have. Maybe I wouldn't be more inclined to criticize AOC and the squad if they at least helped us on our goals. Like they did some shitless shit on the side. You can say I'm an asshole for criticizing them. Oh, come on, Nick. At least they helped us with that. You guys can't even say that.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, they can't even say that. They can't even say that. Like at least they would be able to say, oh, you didn't see that march they did, and they got Amazon, and they helped Amazon push to get another warehouse. You didn't see how they got 100,000 people to show up. There, you'll never hear that. But let's move to the next one. Only critique Republicans even when Democrats do the same thing. Kids in cages. I mean, we can ramble off a bunch of things. Kids in cages. I mean, I'm not even gonna rant on Israel, like everything, war, like everything. We just ramble off a bunch of stuff.
That's really like the theme. That's like the theme of so many of my segments. It's like, anyways, go ahead, CJ.
All right. So there is a second part here. Let me see. Did it make it bigger? Yeah, it makes it bigger. So reject all ideas that comes from the base who put you in office. That might be a big one that we're feeling now. We felt with FTV. Go ahead, Nick.
I'm gonna highlight this comment because it's actually a pretty good point. That's kind of counter to ours, not really, but this is from Jennifer Lee. Always good comment. They say it's better that they don't help. They're phonies, and it's better that they are clear. And the thing is, that kind of counter to what we were saying, but I also get what you're saying. That's definitely a good point. CJ,
no, what it does, no, I think these are both. It's that they're rejecting our ideas because they're phony, so they're kind of connected. right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's so the rejection of it
Yeah.
is
Actually,
proving that they're
yeah.
phony. Yes.
Yeah. To that point, AOC is as unpopular as Nancy Pelosi because the route she took. So now let's think about hypotheticals here. So if AOC from day one was engaged in the outside game, helping the outside left, she wouldn't be as toxic and as poison as she is now, right? She got her reputation because of her hatred of the outside game. If she engaged with the outside game instead of phony red blue bullshit, she'd be the most popular politician in the country, right? But she's not. So she is right. Jennifer is right that she is toxic now because we all know that AOC is a fraud. So she's right. But for a
Right.
few reasons there. But go ahead, CJ.
All right, so next one, we talked about this, and this is just a reoccurring thing now. With this is their new, like, every new progressive never bring up BDS or don't support it at all or actively be against it. Like the all of that is the same sort of a category.
Strongly strongly worded letters.
So I just had one, and that wasn't even strongly worded. We just had one. We just had a letter like a couple of weeks ago that like BJG got into a fight online with a freaking ex State Department guy over this.
I had to really emphasize that one because that's such a good point, CJ. Because the only things that the squad ever does that is worth note, that is worth a half a shit of praise, is when they write a letter. They're like, well, we are concerned about this thing that activists been raising concerns about for quite some time. Now we're gonna write a letter about it and not do anything else. Good point, CJ. Go ahead.
Now, some of these, I had to stop. I just stopped with 2 tweets. Like I could go on and on, but never put pressure on Democratic leadership for the progressive policies you want. Like, don't force the vote. Don't say, hey, if you don't do this, you're not gonna get my vote. Don't do any of that. Give Biden an A when he deserves an F. I mean, Pramila Jayapal, we see every time she's on there. He's doing great, and Joe and Ro Khanna.
AOC still does it to this day. She don't say the A thing, but she had an interview recently before the midterms. I think I covered it. I do so many segments, I'll be forgetting sometimes. But I think I covered it where she did an interview where she was like, yeah, I think Biden's doing a great job. Yeah, the people who criticize Biden, they're not being fair. So it's not. She did say the A part of Pramila, but she still to this day does that thing where she said, yeah, actually, when you look at progressive policies, Biden's very respected. She still to this day says that.
Oh my God, man. So and then the last
adding to your points, because these points are this is literally exactly all the arguments I have against.
This is all the arguments. So
yeah,
be quiet about kids in cages. This is more of just a specific example of one of the other check marks. But do you have any? I know I didn't do all of them because I just stopped with 2 tweets.
Yeah.
Do you have any you can think off the top of your head? Not anything in depth, but off the top of your head that's missing.
The only thing I can add, because you covered it pretty comprehensively. What I got to add is not really a bullet point; it's a concept, right? So one of the reasons why you know the Justice Democrats failed, and they know they don't care that they failed. Let's follow their logic, and I'm gonna show you guys how ridiculous their logic is. Their logic is: if we vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker, they will be nicer to us. Thus, if they're nicer to us, they'll be more likely to engage in progressive policies. Hell, if we vote for Nancy Pelosi and we be nice to these people, we may even get a committee assignment. Then, after voting for Nancy Pelosi, after voting for all the wars, after doing everything they said, they still were stripped from their committee assignments. Still was stripped. So, and then when they were stripped from their committee assignments, did they reassess? Did they look back like, yo, that strategy we have being nice didn't work. Maybe we should ramp up the pressure. No, they took them off the committee assignments, and then they still bootlicked for them. So now let's psychoanalyze this. Okay, so their strategy is, if we are nice to them and we sell out on a few things that we think we can get away with, like if we can sell out the Palestinians, and we vote for the U.S. Domestic Terrorism Act, and we vote to send weapons to Nazis in Ukraine, and we vote for weapons to Taiwan, if we do that, then the party will be more likely to implement progressive policies. How has that gone? Biden reversed on every single one of the policies that he put on the Progressive Unity Squad. I know you guys probably forgot about that because remember when that was a thing? the Progressive Union Squad, and they came up with this list of policies like the public
Yeah.
option, increased minimum wage. Biden did none of that shit. None of it. None of it. So the strategy of selling out on foreign policy in order to get domestic policy gains has been completely unsuccessful. But they still do it. So the fact that they still do it when they've been proven to fail is how you know it's not like a oops, I accidentally got a bad strategy. They are, like you said before, they are meant to lose. They are meant to engage in dumb strategies, like not putting pressure on the House Speaker. Now the Republican Party is exposing these people. Now that the far right is putting pressure on Kevin McCarthy, they doing the thing that we asked them to, the squad, to do to the Democratic Party. You want to know why they do it? Because the far right, they don't have the shackle on them. They are allowed to win. So they can do stuff like that.
Right.
They tell AOC and Squad, you're not allowed to win, so do not engage in effective
ratchet
strategy. So that's why they don't do those things on the list, like organize and mobilize their followers. The right does. And they do that whenever the right does. They say, oh my God, Trump is invited Nick Fuentes. Oh my God, Trump is getting cozy up to the Proud Boys. That Trump responded to his base. Americans, this is your country.
Right.
So even if you hate that, they are doing something that the left doesn't do because they don't want to win.